All of TikTok and all of Instagram already knows all of my business when it comes to my money, so it only makes sense to bring it to YouTube as well. And if you don't know me, hi, I'm Alex. I'm a new content creator and I started sharing my debt payoff journey on TikTok in December of 2023. And in January of 2024, I was able to monetize my TikTok. And since then, I've shared everything about my money when it comes to how much I'm earning, how much I'm spending, how much I'm putting towards my debt. And so I decided to bring this series to YouTube as well. So let's go through all of my money for January. As I share the numbers, I will also try to give you backstories and also some information that I can't do in short form videos. So let's get into it. We're gonna start with income. I get 2 paychecks from my full-time corporate job. I'm a senior content designer and I work in the financial industry. And my paychecks were $2,870 each. Now this is after taxes have been taken out, after I've paid my health insurance, and after I've contributed 20% to my 401k. I also have half of my bonus here. Now I specifically put the other half into my 401k because I didn't want it to be taxed, but this one had taxes taken out, obviously. So this is why it's $3,031. My full bonus was $10,500, I believe. I don't know the exact number, but I believe it was $10,500. So in total for my full-time job, I earned $8,772. Now let's look at the more fun stuff, which is social media and content creation income. From brand deals, I made $3,502. Now I always take 25% out of the money that I earn from brand deals and I put them in a separate bank account because I do pay quarterly taxes. And so I want to make sure that that money is set away and I am not touching it. One thing I want to call out about brand deals is that they actually pay you 30, 60, or even 90 days after you post. It all depends on your contract. That information is in there. So, if you do post a video, don't think you'll get paid immediately. It does take quite some time. So the ones that I've gotten paid for this month, I did like 2-3 months ago. And I don't break down each brand deal because obviously that stuff is in my contract. I don't want to out which brands have paid me how much just because in our contract it says that we cannot disclose that information. So just to play it safe, I group them together and we move on. From my budgeting template, I made $16,452, and of course I've taken out 25% for taxes and I've put it in a separate bank account. And I'm gonna keep saying that because I want to remind you guys that if you're making money from side hustles, you should always put 25-30% away so that way you have enough money when it's time to pay your taxes. From social media views, I made $2,325, and by social media views, I just mean money from TikTok. TikTok is the only social media platform that I get money from. I don't get money from YouTube and I don't get money from Instagram. So this is literally only for views from TikTok. And the way that the TikTok creator program works is you get paid for the previous month's videos. So you get paid on the 15th of January for all of the videos you posted in December. I also added another category called rewards and interest, and I'm just going to be tracking my rewards from my credit cards, but also from the interest that I earn in my high yield savings account. The first high yield savings account that we have holds our emergency fund, and because the amount is quite large, we do get a big chunk of money from interest, and we use Marcus. We really like it, so I highly recommend that account. The second high yield savings account was holding our down payment because we wanted to buy a home this year, but we decided against that. So now we're most likely going to invest that money in the stock market. But in any case, it's there and it's earning us a little bit of interest. And for that account, we use Ally and they're really good as well. So highly recommend it. If you're saving money for something that's short term or you want it to be easily accessible, I highly recommend you get a high yield savings account. Stop using just regular savings accounts because they do not earn you absolutely anything. And so for net income in January, we made $31,818. And I say we because my husband and we work together when it comes to social media. He doesn't work a full-time job. That's a whole different story. I've already talked about it in my other videos if you want to check them out. But in any case, he's essentially like my manager now. So all of this money is both of our money, and we've always had our money combined ever since we got married. So anytime I talk about anything about income or expenses or bills, just remember that it's for both of us. For bills, we have rent and parking. Yes, we pay for parking because we live in the city, and yeah, if you want to make sure you have a parking spot, you got to pay for it. But actually our parking is in our building and it's really nice. It's closed, it's private, so worth every penny, honestly. And just a heads up, we do live in a 426 square foot apartment, aka a studio. For electricity, we paid $40.71, and people are always so shocked that our electricity bill was so light. But we do live in a studio apartment, so I don't know. I think that's pretty reasonable. I would be super upset if we lived in a tiny place and we also had to pay $100 for electricity. For internet, we paid $53 and we use Zentro, and I believe they're just local to Chicago. I also paid $2.99 for Apple storage. Of course, I feel like we all have to pay for Apple storage at this point. Our gym membership was $389 for 2 people, and now I think that is quite the deal. Listen, we go to a boxing gym and we have unlimited classes and the trainers are absolutely amazing, and we pay that for 2 people? I don't know. Let me know if I'm crazy, but I think that is a steal. For streaming services, we paid $17, and this is for Netflix. My husband and I always alternate streaming services. I personally think it's such a waste of money to get more than one because we have so many other things like obviously YouTube, we have social media, we have other stuff we gotta be doing. There's no way you can watch that many shows in 1 month, so you can just alternate them and save yourself a little bit of money. And yes, I pay for Meta Verified, and that's $16. And for Invisalign, I pay $85 every single month. Right now, I'm not wearing them, but I really need to be wearing them. And because we do a lot of video editing, we also got a 1-year subscription to Artlist.io, and that was $515. I have to say, I was quite surprised at how expensive this was, but it's a business expense. I think it's worth it. At least that's what I tell myself. We also paid $19 for QuickBooks, but I will tell you right now, we already canceled it. We're not going to be using QuickBooks anymore. It's way too complicated for what we need. My husband and I don't spend that much money on our business, so we decided to just use a spreadsheet because that's what I love, that's what I do, that's what my habit is. I don't know, maybe it's going to inspire me to create a business spreadsheet as well. More to come, more to come. We also paid $425 for my husband's acting classes. He absolutely loves it. That is his passion, that is his hobby. So it's a totally worthy expense. And this is for about 2.5 months of acting classes. So in total this month, we spent $4,027, which is quite a lot. Like I said, we don't usually pay the acting classes every single month, and we don't pay the $515 for video assets. So typically our bills are a lot lower. Keeping bills low is really important because they're typically a fixed expense, meaning that once you sign up for something, it's really hard to get out of it. Even with subscriptions, yes, you can cancel them month to month, but most people don't. They kind of forget about them. So I want you to get in the habit of checking your bills regularly and making sure that you're not just letting things run up your checking account when in reality, you're not using it. So cancel stuff that you don't use and be careful about what you sign up for. And when it comes to car insurance and phone bills, I really want to encourage you to shop around. Especially with car insurance, you can shop around every 6 months and see if someone's going to give you a better rate. You don't have to stay loyal to these car insurance companies. Trust me, they will fight for your business. So call a few up and see if you can get your quote lowered. For our phone bills, we use Mint Mobile, and honestly, we've never had a problem with them. We pay yearly, and it's $360, I want to say. You should check. Maybe their rates have gone up or down. I'm not quite sure. I don't see the point of paying $100 a month for just a phone service provider. Now let's look at our expenses. Our grocery and essentials budget is $1,000, and you're probably thinking, Alex, that is a lot of money for groceries and essentials. But it is for 2 people, and we do live in the city. But I agree, we can probably lower it down. But we really haven't tried because we don't eat out, like we don't go to restaurants. We also don't go to cafes unless it's a business expense. So it's kind of worth it to us to get stuff we really want and cook at home and get snacks. So we're not really worried about it, to be honest with you. For transportation, we were over budget this month, which is not normal. The only reason this happened was because we took an Uber ride because we walked to a place and then it got really cold and we had to take an Uber back. So this was very much an exception for us. For medical, we were over by $34, and this is because in January, both me and my husband were sick way too much. I don't know what was going on, but we needed cold medicine, teledoc appointments, just all the sick stuff. For content creation, I give myself $500 every single month to spend on whatever I want for content creation. It could be tech, it could be tickets to something, it could be a cute cafe that we want to film. So just things that we want to buy for running the business. And so in total, we spent $1,642 on expenses. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but if you follow me on my other channels, then you know that my husband and I do a no spend every single January through March. And we do this because in Chicago, it's really cold and it's really easy to not spend because we don't go out, we don't buy any new clothes because we already have all of our winter clothes. So it's really easy for us to do it. But we don't really do it for the money. We do it as a shopping detox because we want to stop bringing stuff into our home, and we find that at the beginning of the year we have a lot of motivation for that. So it's just really easy to do. And with that, we come to the end, which is money going out, and the total is $5,670. So you can see that we have $26,148 left to spend. And you're probably like, what the heck are you gonna spend this money on now, right? Well, I think we're going to put $1,000 or $2,000 into our vacation fund, and the rest we will invest. Wow, that rhymed. For full transparency, all of this is very new to us, so we're trying to figure out what to do now. We're probably going to sit down this month and really create a solid plan of where we're going to be investing this money. Obviously, I'm front loading my 401k through my company. Also, we'll invest in our Roth IRAs. We'll have to do backdoor Roth IRAs most likely, and then we'll probably just invest it in our taxable brokerage accounts. But again, I don't want to say something when I haven't done it yet, so I guess I will keep you posted when we do figure it out. And for a little bit of backstory, my husband and I moved to the US 2 years ago, and our whole plan was to come here and to work on our careers and save a little bit of money and then maybe retire in Europe. Like, we didn't really have a very solid plan then either. And so now the content creation has really taken off, and it has opened this totally new passion for me and even my husband, who loves film and theater and just editing and videos. We're really kind of trying to figure out what we want to do next. So I feel like a lot of changes are going to be happening in the next months, in this year, maybe next year. So I plan on bringing you along. My whole thing with content creation is I want to document my journey. I don't want to just show you the end result. Last year, I showed you how I paid off all of my debt. And then this year, I'm going to show you how I probably set up my business, how I do my systems. And so, yeah, my whole thing is I'm bringing you along for the ride. I'm not just going to tell you what I did at the end. And if any of that sounds interesting to you, follow along, subscribe, like, leave a comment, do all the stuff you're supposed to do on YouTube, and I will be back next week. Bye.